lovely. Anyway, let's start the recording. There we go. Welcome to Witchy Wednesday, live, 13th of January 2016. Who have we got in? Hello. Already said hello to Cheryl and Ingville. Claire B. Hi, Claire B. Bloodfire Girl. Hi, DVO6. Miller. Turtle Moon. Hi, everybody. Don't be shy. Say hello in chat. Oh, that's not the right button. There we go. I haven't texted Tracy. I forgot and I can't find my other phone. I can only find my iPod. I can't find my proper phone. So if somebody can message Tracy Fox for me and let her know that I've gone live, that would be great because she's my admin. Okay, so I'm only doing 2 hours today. I've decided that I'm better doing 2-hour shows than 3-hour shows. 3-hour shows is just too long. 2-hour shows is about right. So, less waffle, more getting on with it. What we're doing today is playing with CDs. Because, as with all good crafting stories start, you know, all good fairy tales start once upon a time. All good crafting stories start. So one day I was on Pinterest. But seriously, I was on Pinterest one day and I saw this thing that was a CD wind chime type thing. Well, not a wind chime, but a sun catcher. You know, like the crystal sun catchers. And it just had like 3 CDs like this. And they were all painted and with mandalas and things. It was all very pretty. And I thought, well, that's very nice. I think we could take it a little bit further. So, first off, we're going to try and do the CD bit. Apparently, if you scratch these and then remove it with tape, all this aluminium sticker will come off. That's what I'm told. We will see. I've also been told that if you rub isopropyl alcohol on it and leave it for 10 minutes, it will peel off. I don't know if that's true. I don't have any isopropyl alcohol. I bought a bottle and I can't find it anywhere, so I haven't been able to try it. However, back in the day, when altering CDs was a thing, we used to cover this in double-sided tape or sticky glue, put it that way down on a piece of scrapbook paper, get all the air bubbles out, and then when it was dry, we'd trim around the edge, and ta-da, you've covered the back of your CD with scrapbook paper. And then you could add bits to it, so you could add photographs, or you could turn it into a memory thing, or whatever. So that's an alternative idea if you can't get the covers off. And the idea of this is that I want to turn it into part of my shambles. Let me get my book so I can show you what a shambles is. This is all linked in together with my word of the year and everything else. So let me recap from the beginning. My word of the year this year is magical. Not particularly in a witchy sense. I just, you know, everything. I want this year to be magical. I want a good year. But that also includes, you know, I want to do more magical practice. I want to do fun stuff. I want to have a good year, basically. I want to concentrate on me for a change and what I want to do. And instead of just working myself to death, I want to have a spiritual and a aesthetic and everything else connection going on, because I do tend to just get up, work and then go to bed. Obviously there's drinking coffee in the pauses. Drinking coffee. And yes, I'm covered in bruises, okay? Someone spotted this the other day. I got weird comment the other day. Someone saw my bruises and then heard about me having a big bruise on the side of my cheek and asked if somebody had beaten me up. And I'm like, no. I had a tooth filling, which was really deep. It's like the one before you have a root canal, kind of deep. And it basically, it was so deep it bruised the whole of the side of my face. But this is Maddie. This is what happens first thing in the morning when Maddie wakes up and decides that she wants to pee at 5 AM. Tracy's not home from work yet, but she knows. Okay, great. Thank you, Claire. So yeah, this is Maddie. All these bruises on my arms. This is Maddie. This is what happens when she wants to get up and pee at 5 a.m. and I'm still in, oh my God, I only went to bed an hour ago, leave me alone mode. We have a fight. She stomps on me and I get bruises. Okay? Nobody's beating me up. Been there, done that, not doing it again. Oh, hell no. So, back to my shambles. See, magical mood record for 2016. That was Claire's idea. Claire B last week came up with this idea of using this as a magical mood record. I'm not going to show you what I've filled in it because it's private. But I'm basically just keeping a... It's all done in this pretty green ink and it's done with a dip pen because it's my special time to just sit and write what I want to write in here. And I just keep a record of, you know, if I've done a tarot reading or if I've worked in my book or if I've done any spell or anything like that, all that kind of stuff. It's just a record of what I've done. So this is a shambles. This is from the Discworld Diary. Page... What page? 7th of March. It's just the page before the 7th of March if you've got the book. And I've been really drawn to this kind of thing for a while. On Pinterest, I've set up a board that is specifically for magical ideas and stuff because this is where it ties in with something else. I'm doing Susie Blue's Paint Plan and Chronicle this year. It's free. It's up on YouTube. Susie Blue Tube or Susie Blue. Go look her up. She's fab. Let me find the board. I'm not going to go into details about the class. It's a free class. You can go and watch the videos yourself. But basically, part of what we're doing is setting up a nice space to spend quiet time in. And I've had this idea for a while that on my window I would like to put up something like this. I hope this will show up on camera. Can you see that? It's not a very good picture, but it's all beads and things. I've had this pinned for about 3 years and I never had anywhere to put it. And now I have a window that doesn't face the sun, because obviously with crystals that's dangerous. You don't want it facing the sun because you can start a fire. But it's on the side of the house that gets the sun in the mornings. So it'll be pretty and it'll look pretty, you know, later in the day when the whole of this room goes grey because the sun is out the front. It'll still be pretty. It'll be a bit of colour on the thing. And there's other ones. There's things like this. Because this particular window is where I'm going to set up my little nook. My magical little nook for, you know, just somewhere to sit in the mornings and wake up, basically, because I'm not a morning person. If I turn this up a bit, that might help. Let's take it off auto and turn it up. There we go, that's better. Now you might be able to see properly. Here we go. If you go on my Pinterest board at Rhomany, there's a board called Magical, and all of these are in here. So I've got this whole thing of the aesthetics that I want to get in my little nook. So there's an evening photo. And a morning. So I like all the mirrors on the walls and things. I quite like the idea of putting mirrors on the walls to make it lighter and brighter. And I'm not a big fan of mirrors. I like mirrors in strategic places. I'm not one of those people who likes to have mirrors absolutely everywhere. The idea of having a bedroom closet with mirrors all over it freaks me out. But I do like the idea of having little picture frames and pretty mirrors, you know, like you get the little mirrors in picture frames or with sequins on and all sorts of colourful little bits. I thought that would be quite nice. And then I've got this kind of aesthetic, which is, you know, treasure boxes kind of idea. where you've got your tarot cards and pretty jewellery and things like that. I quite like that idea, rather than having loads of art stuff all over the place. Because I have my art cart, which I can wheel over to that side of the room. I've also got this, which is it's kind of like a dream catcher hula hoop type thing that you can hang your earrings on. I've had that pinned for a couple of years because I really like that idea as well. So all of these little bits and pieces, this kind of stuff, is what I'm going for. And then I saw a bit more wintry one, and those of you who saw my Christmas decorations will know I had one of these artificial twig things, and it's got little fairy lights wrapped all around it. And I just want somewhere that it can grow organically, like I can put this twig thing up at the top and start it off with a few crystals and beads and things that I've got, because I've already got some stuff that people have sent me, a couple of wind catchers and things like that. And then as I go along, you know, as people send me little trinkets or things that I want to put, because like people have sent me little totem elephants and things and little crystals and stuff like that, and I absolutely adore them. But I've got nowhere to put them because I don't really use planner charms. I tend to wear crystals as my necklaces. I don't tend to wear fancy necklaces. I wear my pentagram and my wolf totem at all times, and then I tend to just add one crystal to it. So all these pretty necklaces I've got, I'm not really using. So I thought, well, I'll have somewhere that I can just hang them up, and then if I want to wear them, they're there. I can take them off and wear them. But in the meantime, I can hang them on here, and so on. And then I found this. So where is this? Let me find the CD pin. Hang on. I did post this in the group, so if you're in the group, you'll have already seen this. Oh, don't search in my pins, you silly thing. Right, CD. Suncatcher. I think that's what it was under. Yes, here we go. So there's the video. If you just, all I put in is CD Suncatcher, and it comes up on Pinterest. And you've got all of these cute, colourful things. These are all mandalas. There's the video. The third one down is actually the video on how to make them. We've got some plain ones that are altered. So these are plain. They've not been removed. They've still got the aluminium on the back, so they're holographic, but they're hung against the wall. So they're only doodled on one side. That's what I used to do. I used to doodle on one side with like either a black or a white Sharpie pen, or a paint pen, and just doodle in different colours, and then you hang them up on beads. Well, I thought this would be a really cool idea to add a few to my suncatcher. Here, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Because I don't have a curtain in that window. I'm not overlooked by anything. So I don't feel like I really need to put a curtain up. I've got a net that I pull across in the evenings, just when I've got the lights on, because it feels weird not having anything there. But nobody can see into the window. So it's only there for me looking out, not to stop anyone looking in. But I thought this would be really pretty across that window. So that's what we're doing. So that's the art of the shambles. Now, obviously for copyright purposes, I can't just generally share this, but for educational purposes, you can share a small amount of a book. So I'll put these pages up on the group, because the group is private. I'm just sharing it with a few friends there. So I'll put this little bit up so that if you want to read the bit about the shambles, then you've got it there, okay? And it tells you in there about, I mean, obviously this is fantasy book. This is not a witch book. This is fantasy. This is the witches from Discworld, Terry Pratchett's Discworld. But he knew enough about folk traditions, coming from the West Country, out in the sticks where I'm from, to know that this was the kind of thing that people did. You know, you made, you know, obviously there's the Native American dream catchers, but hanging crystals and things in the windows and bits of net and lace and twigs and things, that's what you did to collect good energy. and keep out evil spirits, you know, back in the day of that kind of thing. So, just to show you, this is regular craft acrylic. So, for those who are probably going to ask, yes, you can paint over this, but you will still get bits showing. So if you were going to perhaps add ribbons on this, I don't have a bit of ribbon, but here's a nail file. If you were going to add ribbons to it, maybe have the ribbon hanging down there, stuck to it, and hang it on a ribbon, and a little bit of ribbon here with some beads on or something like that. Yes, you could do that. You could perhaps have a sticky with a positive quote on it or something. Obviously you'd cut it to size and something. You know, you could perhaps put that and put a thought spell or a positive hi Andy, a positive, you know what I mean. What's the word? Affirmation, that's the word. All that kind of thing. So there's lots of options, cover it in paper, but what I want to do today is actually try this technique of sharpie and glass paint and getting the front off these things and seeing if it works. If all else fails, we can paint this side and doodle on this side. I know that works, so that's not a problem. But underneath here is just plastic, this stuff. So I'm told I looked on Pinterest and it said if you get a knife and you just, ooh, I don't like that noise, you score through this. Obviously you don't want to do it too hard because you don't want to score the plastic. If you score through this stuff and then you get some tape, you should be able to lift off the edge of this stuff and then it comes off. So let's give it a go, shall we? You could glue two together, yes. I've done that before as well. Well, that doesn't work. I have taken this stuff off before, I know I have. But yes, Claire, you could. I've done that where you stick ribbon down the middle and you glue the two. That would be really nice, actually, because you'd have the holographic effect as well. So perhaps for a mobile or something, that would be really nice. All right, let me have a bit more of a play with this. Let me see if maybe I've not scored it through enough. This does not want to come off. I don't know who came up with this idea of, oh yeah, you can just scratch it and it comes off. I think they were making it up. Because this isn't coming off. Oh, hang on. Without scratching it, it's coming off. This is going to take a while. Okay, let me try something a bit less harsh than my knife. Maybe I need better sticky tape. It doesn't want to come off. It does come off in bits, but maybe I need better sticky tape. I don't know where my big gaffer tape roll is. Hello, baby. I just found my phone, though, which I've been looking for all day, so that's good. Hello, baby girl. Oh, baby boy. Sorry. I thought it was Miss Maddie. Hi, Scooby-Doo. I'm just looking around my room here, trying to find something that might help me get this stuff off. I have a thing of isopropyl alcohol somewhere, but I can't find it. Okay. Oh, let's try this. Let's see if this works. Well, that takes the paint off. So if you paint it and you don't like it, you can take it off with a credit card. This is not working. I don't like this. This is... Oh, is that right, Scoob? Is that what I need to do? Oh, okay. I'll try that then. Yeah, it's not working. So that's not going to work. But I'll play with it some more and see if I can come up with a way of getting that off, because everybody says that that's how you do it. You just lift it up at the corners and it all comes off. But it's not coming off. It's not on that side, it's on this side. Once you score it and get it off the edges, they said, it'll come off, they said. Or not. So let's go with putting two together instead for now. Let's do the decorating. We can always... do something else with the back. Okay, so... Ooh. Do you know what I'm drinking? I've got coffee, but it's Bailey's Irish Cream coffee. Oh. Bailey's Irish Cream flavour coffee. Okay, it's not real coffee. Now this one is black. I wonder how well it would take to... Where's my Sharpie? Come on, I got everything out ready and now I can't find anything. What on earth? I've got a Sharpie here somewhere. Black Sharpie. Black Sharpie. Hello, Sharpie. Come in, Sharpie. Scoob, where's my Sharpie? There it is. Thank you. Let's see. Could we... Oh, is that right? I had a push on a black one. Could just colour in the letters with a Sharpie. That would work. I can hear you. Hi. Hi. What's the matter? You've been out for a wee. You've had your tea. You've had a dinner. You've been to the park. You've played with your ball. What's the matter? You've had belly rubs. You want more belly rubs? Okay. Oh, what do you like? Yeah, at a push you could colour this in with a bit of Sharpie. Now I know from experience with these, the Sharpie pens don't work. Okay, so the little I've got one here. Hang on. Scoob, hi. These little Sharpie pens don't work. They wipe off. They're not the same kind of ink. They're bleed-proof ink. They're not alcohol markers. You could, of course, use any alcohol markers, like Copics or whatever. But these Sharpies, the regular bullet point Sharpies, are the ones that if you use them on glazed pottery, white pottery, and then bake it, you can do designs on your own pottery. But what you do have to do is heat set it. So let me grab my heat gun. Be careful doing this because that backing on the CDs is aluminium, which means it makes it hot. It gets very hot, so don't go putting your fingers straight on it once you've done that. Now, that will not come off, see? Get it wet, not coming off. If I'd done that before I dried it with a heat seal, it would have come off. So if you've got a black CD, you could do it with that. I suppose you could colour any CD. I wonder if it would cover that yellow. Let's try that, shall we? Huh. How about that? Well, you could cover it with black. It's a little bit streaky, but if you're going to put stuff on it and hang it up, it's not really going to make much difference. So there's that. That's an option. But see, if I don't heat set that, it'll wipe off. just to prove that it does actually happen. So what I wanted to have a go at was this glass paint stuff. What I've got is, nope, that's glitter. Where's my glass paints? Right. These are, they're only cut ups because they fit in my box better if they're in 2 bits. These are Glass Stain from Decoart. For those of you who don't know, I'm a deco art helping artist, so I get to try their stuff and see what happens. And they sent me some of these little trial things, and I thought I would have a play. So you can buy these little pots on like Amazon and stuff, and pretty much anywhere that sells deco art things. Now, the girl in the video who did this used 3-dimensional paint, you know, that puffy paint that you squeeze out in a tube, which is an excellent idea because it creates pockets for the glass paint to go into. However, that takes forever to dry. I know from experience you have to do it like 24 hours in advance. So I don't really want to be messing about with that today. I was just going to use Sharpie, do a design, paint it, see how it works. Tracy, hi there. It's all right, we'll let you off. You just got back from work. Well, at least you're here. There we go. All is right with the world. Tracy's here. So I'm just going to get these out. I haven't used these at all, but these are weatherproof paint. Like the acrylic paints, they're multi-surface and they're used for indoor and outdoor use. And they don't fade in the sun or anything like that. So that's what you want for a sun catcher, isn't it? And they're just completely clear like liquid gel, almost like ink. So I thought that would be rather cute. Now, given that I know and can already tell you that Sharpies definitely work on these. I've used these before. This normal Sharpie Parker, you can doodle on this, do a Zentangle, heat gun it, and that's it, you're done. So given that I already know works, I thought I'd try something a little different. I've got a new stamp. This is Jasmine Beckett Smith stamp. She does these big-eyed girl type things. Very well-known artist, but she has, I didn't know she did stamps. But I thought something like that, the little stamp on there, and maybe do some colours around her would be quite cute. And we can try different things to colour it in. So I've got my archival ink. This is acid-free, fade-resistant, waterproof, smear-proof, and I believe it can be used on any surface. Yes, make permanent with a craft heat tool. So hopefully it'll work on this surface. If not, we'll just wipe it off and start again with something else. So ink her up. Ooh, it's all sticky. I don't think I need to ink all of her up because she won't fit because of the hole. Her face would be where the hole was. But let's see. We're decorating CDs today, Tracy, to make them into wind catchers, but we haven't been able to get the nasty stuff off. Okay, I'm going to go as close to the hole as I can to get as much of her on as I can. So I think that is about where we're going to get her. Yeah, it's a little bit double stamped. I think I smudged it a bit as I picked it up, but that's okay. She looks all right. Let's heat set that. Now I'm not 100% sure that's going to work, so what I'm going to do is grab a cocktail stick and a bit of cloth. Scoob, what's the matter, my love? What's the matter? Okay, give me a second. I think he might need to go out. Let me just double check. No, this is wiping off. Well, that's annoying. Okay, plan B. Give me a second. I'm just going to let Scooby out. I think he needs to go for a wee again. Come on then. Come on then. You're going to be quick. Good boy. Come on then. Good boy. You can sit down quietly now for mummy. Right. Is that done? Okay. Plan B is I'm going to grab my sharpie and draw over the lines that I want to keep. So let me get the picture so I can see what I'm doing. She's quite fussy, so I'm not too worried about losing some of the detail. Let's put these in here. That comes up there. Obviously this would work a bit better if I've got a thinner one of these, but I don't have a thinner one, I only have these big chunky ones. Okay. Possibly should have started at the top. Right, she's got a bodice here. Oh, I'm going to colour that in black. I like that black. I think I'm going to do a black and red. Arm there. Arm there. Let's get her face and neck in. So there's her neck. And her shoulder comes there. And her face. And her hair. Okay, and that side of her face there. And her dress comes down all fluffy like this, and out like that, and around here. I'm going to simplify this a little bit. I think it's a bit too fussy for what we're doing. Now we've got to do her face, which is not going to be fun with this really thick Sharpie, but I think I might simplify her face as well. She's got quite detailed eyes, so I don't think we need all that. How are we going to draw that mouth? She's got the tiniest mouth in existence. Oh, I know. Let's heat set what we've got there. Okay, so note to self, buy some small thin Sharpie end pieces, but yeah, I think I have another plan. Okay, let's wipe off that ink. See, that permanent ink comes right off. So much for multi-surface permanent heat set ink stuff, Mr. Holtz. It's a shame Claire's not here. She probably could have told us, because she's a design team member for Ranger. She probably could have told us what to use. Okay, I'm going to, because this is still warm, it's still rubbing off a little bit, the Sharpie, so that's good because it's making it a little less chunky. But all this permanent ink, the archival ink, is just coming straight off. Right, that's better. So I'm just going to redo a couple of bits where the Sharpie hadn't quite taken properly. Right, let that dry a minute, cool a second, sorry. Anybody playing along? Oh, you need to turn on links, Tracy. Or you're on mobile, you can't allow URLs. There we go. Links are open. Okay, that's cooler. It's not cool, but it is cool. This is a heat resistant mat, by the way. So although this is quite warm, it gets very hot. You're painting insides white. Insides of what? This side. That would work. Or this bit. Yeah, this is a silicone heat resistant mat. It's actually one of those that you put in the bottom of a oven to catch splashes. It's really thick and chunky. So it's heat proof. And because it's silicone, I can cut on it and everything and it doesn't mark. It's fab. eBay is where I got it, because somebody will ask. Right. I'm one of those people who doesn't clean my stamps. Wah! Oh, you're gluing two back to back. Ah, yes. Yes, I think I might do that with this one. I think that'd be quite pretty, just to have it. Especially if it's in front of the window. When you open the window, it would catch in the wind, wouldn't it? And then it would flash, and that would be really nice. Okay, what else I want to try is this. Do alcohol pens work? Like Copic type alcohol markers? Can you heat set those? Sue can't see chat. Right, Sue, at the top of your page, can you see where it says the title of the show, menu, and then underneath there's a bar that says social stream and chat. You need to be in chat. So make sure you're in the right thing. If you still can't see chat, log out, log back in again. Thanks, Trace. So I've got a couple of face colours here. I wasn't going to do anything fancy, just, you know, a basic face colour, and then pink. You're just watching because you have a horrid cold. Oh, that's not nice. A shiny Oreo cookie. Ooh, I like that. So let's see if this works. And the answer is, no, actually, it doesn't. It's not even picking up the colour. It is, however, taking the Sharpie off. So if you want to remove the Sharpie, because you made a mistake, get a blender pen and put it over the Sharpie. Okay, so there's a happy accident. That's cool. That's cool. So alcohol markers don't work. They just don't even show up. But these work great. So you can actually clear up. Obviously you'll have to do this and then wipe it straight away. And blot it. Don't swipe it, because if you swipe it, that will swipe it across a line and you'll lose bits that you don't want to lose. But you can tidy up bits if you've got parts that are a bit too thick. Ha! That's cool. And obviously your alcohol markers, yeah, it'll leave a dark tip, but it comes off. So there you go, you can clear up. See, that's completely gone. Her nose is completely gone. You can clean up any bits that aren't right with a blender. Who knew, hey? Who knew? There we go, that's better. She's looking a bit evil there, actually. Okay, so plan B is going to be, I'm going to paint her, and then I'll go in with a paint marker afterwards, once I'm done with all the wet stuff. Once I'm done with all the wet stuff, I'll go in with a paint marker. Because the Posca paint markers, I know, work. But obviously, once you get it wet, these aren't waterproof. I've also got the Chalkola markers as well, which I'm going to play with in a minute. These are water soluble. So on a non-porous surface, they will wipe off. They won't come off completely, but they will wipe off. So what I'll do is I'll paint her first, make sure that I've done all the wet stuff, and then when I'm finished, I'll put her nose detail in with this. So let's paint her dress, shall we? These don't have any sediment, so they shouldn't need mixing. But that's why I've got the cocktail sticks. So let me grab a brush. A brush. I want a brush. No, not you. Apparently he wants a brush as well. Okay, that one will do. Right, so I'm going to do her dress red. This is, like I said, this is the Decoarts Glass Paint. I suspect this would show up better on the clear plastic. It is there, you can see it, but it's not showing up awfully well on the silver. It's also quite thick and goopy. But it doesn't move around much, so I like that. That means that we can kind of pool it in areas and make it a little bit darker. And because it's glass paint, even though it's kind of going on a bit weird, it should settle, should self-level. Well, it actually goes on a bit better once it's slightly tacky. So perhaps putting it on a little bit thinner. I assumed putting it on thickly would be what you'd want to do, but no. I think a little bit thinner would have been better, actually. If you spread it around too much, it doesn't really want to go on properly. Because obviously this is plastic, it's not glass. You do have to take that into account. Is you can't... A lot of people will try a product and they'll be like, oh, this is rubbish, it doesn't work. Everybody keeps saying it's really good and it doesn't work. It's ink syndrome, people. Ink and paper syndrome. You cannot sit there and say moleskin paper is rubbish or Midori paper is rubbish because I use this ink and it doesn't work. Of course there's going to be inks that don't work. Alcohol inks don't work on anything. A lot of the diamine inks, however, work on everything. Even the thinnest paper, you can use it and it won't bleed through. My diamine inks, apart from a couple of very, very dark colours, I've got a very dark blue-black and I've got an orange that for some reason bleeds through on moleskin paper. But everything else doesn't bleed. So you can't just say, oh, this doesn't work. It doesn't work on that paper. It doesn't work on that surface. It doesn't work in that way, in the way you did it on whatever it was you were working on. That doesn't mean it's a crap product and it doesn't work at all. And there's a big difference. Glass paint is supposed to be almost completely sheer. It's just supposed to lend a colour. But I'm thinking, because this goes on very well once it's tacky, I think if you do 2 layers of this, it will go on quite nicely. And as I'm working with it, I'm finding that it's actually better to have a little bit and blot it down where you want it. Now, this may be... Remember at the beginning I said that the one I'd seen, they'd used dimensional paint for the lines. That might be why they use dimensional paint, so they can put this on nice and thick and it'll stay put. But for the purposes that I'm doing, I don't actually need it to stay put. It's not like I'm doing a mandala or something. And the Sharpie line is quite thick. And of course it's black, so it doesn't matter if it pulls around or if it goes over the black, because you won't see that. But I'm liking this effect. And as it's drying, it's getting easier to pool it where I want it to be. It's going a bit more like... you know what the consistency reminds me of? You know that syrupy strawberry sauce you get for ice cream? That once it goes cold, it goes hard? That's what the consistency is like. So you can see her top there is going quite dark. So I'm going to try and do that with these bits here now. Because the red is see-through, you can still see the black. Even where it's very, very thick. So perhaps I can be a little bit more generous with it. Wipes off easily if you catch it when it's wet, that's good. I have no idea how long this is going to take to dry, but we do have more than one. Oh, why am I ringing? Crikey, that's halfway through the show already. I'm just going to finish her skirt here and then we'll take a 2-minute break for coffee. What was I saying? Ooh. I don't know. I started saying something and then my alarm went off and I don't know what I was saying. What was I saying, people? I'm in the zone, see? The minute I get in the zone, that's it. I didn't have it on high resolution. Sorry about that. You should be able to see it a bit clearer now. Oh, I just had another idea for the back. Oh! Oh, yeah! Oh, I wonder if that'll work. I'm not telling you. I'm going to try it in a minute. Okay. There's got to be an easier way of putting this stuff on than with a brush, I'm thinking. Because it is self-levelling, but you have to kind of... Oh, it splatters everywhere. It's like working with treacle. I've never used glass paint before, so I don't know if that's a common trait of glass paint or if it's just the Decoarts glass paint. So my mum used to do things like this with enamels, which I like, but you have to use meths with enamels because it's like oil paint. It's oil based, and of course I can't use that with my asthma. The fumes, I remember the fumes. She used to do, I remember when I was little, she hand drew, because my mum's an artist, she hand drew some Disney characters, all my favourite Disney characters, onto glass jars, coffee jars, recycled some coffee jars, and she drew them all on with a felt tip, and then she painted them all in with enamel paint. It was so cute. There. Now let me just clean this up, because this is pretty sticky stuff. I have a feeling it's going to go really tacky. And really tacky when you've got dogs is not a good place to be, because everything gets covered in dog hair if it's really tacky. Can you hear Maddie in the background snoring? She's really giving it some. Right, that needs to dry. There she is. She's looking quite pretty so far. I like the fact that her holographic comes through the red, but it changes colour, see? I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it's almost like it's a rainbow effect, but when it comes onto her dress, it's like fiery. I like that. I think that's really cool. So, if you want a coffee, now's the time to go and get one. I'm just going to sit and drink my coffee for a second. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any ideas for next week? Oh, I know this from experience, if you hang these up, obviously you can stick ribbons to them, there's that. But if you want to drill holes to hang them on beads and things, you need to be very careful. You're best off doing a couple at a time and get some of this packing tape stuff and just put a blob where you want your hole to be and stack a few up. So get each one. So if you want holes there and there, stick a blob, stick a blob, stick a blob, stick a blob, line them all up where you want them to be and drill your hole through. Do it with a very thin drill bit. What that'll do is the tape will stop the drill bit from shattering the CDs, because if you've ever thrown a CD at something hard, you'll know that they shatter and they splinter, and they are very, very nasty things if they actually do break. It's very hard to break one, but if you do break them, they shatter like glass and they're extremely sharp and you will never find all the bits. So just a little tip there from Papa Gnome, because I said to Papa Gnome, so if I want to drill through CDs, what do I need to do? And he said, be very careful. He knows me so well. But yeah, that was his advice. Put some tape on it and then drill through the CDs in a stack, which would make it much easier. And it will apparently it puts the force on all the CDs rather than just on one pressure point. So there you go. That's Papa Gnome's advice. I think she needs purple hair. What do you think? I think this is going to take a while to dry. Do you want to know what my other idea was? I don't know if it's going to work. I'll use my test CD, shall we? This one's ruined. I'm going to play with this one some more and see if I can get that cover off, because it should come off, but it doesn't want to. She's going to have to go over there a little bit to dry. Let's put her there where she won't fall off. I'm going to try this. So we're just taking a break before I carry on, but I have here two different types of paint. I have glow-in-the-dark paint. Again, these are from Decoart. Decoart helping artist, so they tend to be Decoart, but that doesn't mean you have to use Decoart. You can all sorts of places do glow-in-the-dark paint. Now, I've used this stuff before, a different brand, and it was okay. It was very thin and translucent, like that's glass paint. It kind of went on like masking fluid. It was opaque when it dried, and then when you saw it in the dark, it glowed. I don't know how long the luminance lasts for. I don't know how this one will look when it's dry or whatever. So, but it says it says on the back, non-toxic, water-based, permanent, recharges with exposure to light. Okay. Ooh, there's a good idea. My doorbell, it's a big doorbell, it's about that big, with a button, and there's a big thing there that you put your name on, but I've put my name on it, but nobody can see it in the dark. I wonder if I use glow-in-the-dark paint to write flat 1 on it, if they'd be able to see it in the dark. Ha! Because it gets the sun on that side of the house during the day, so it'll recharge. I'm going to have to try that now. Anyway, glow it. Ideal for use when a special glow is needed for Halloween costumes, light fixtures, party accents and crafts. Glow it can be used alone or mixed up with 25% of Americana quality acrylic paints or hot shot fabric acrylics. Oh! Works on fabric without heat setting or fabric medium, except when mixed with other paints. Pre-wash fabrics prior to application. Allow 24 to 48 hours to dry properly before hand washing in mild detergent. Soap and water cleanup. We like soap and water cleanup. Huh. So this is multi-surface. Huh. So that would be rather cool, wouldn't it? Do like, maybe do a mandala with your glass paints and your stained glass or your raised paint or whatever, and then go around the design with glow it paint. So in the dark, you get the glow of the paint. Wouldn't that be cool? So I've got that, and I've also got this. This is chalk finish paint, which of course goes with my Chalkola markers. These are Chalkola, they're not Decoart. These are the ones that Chalkola brand actually contacted me and said, would you like to try our markers? And I said, oh yes, please, that sounds quite nice. And they're very good. But they're wet wipe markers. Now, this is permanent acrylic chalk finish matte board paint for glass. So, opaque paint that creates a chalky ultra matte finish, specially formatted for glass and glazed ceramics. Clean surface with alcohol, don't have any of that. Apply paint with synthetic brush, let dry for 4 days. Bake 30 minutes in a non-preheated oven. I think we can probably do it with a heat gun. I'm not putting a plastic CD in the oven. I think it would melt. Not for direct contact with food, dishwasher safe. Ah, the heat setting is to make it dishwasher safe, that's why. Now, this would be fun for like parties and stuff, kids' parties. Plain white china, blob of chalk paint, maybe on the bottom of the dish, and put the kid's name on it so they know which dish is theirs, or on the outside of a cup or a mug so they know which mug is theirs. That'd be quite cool. What if we put this on there and heat set it, and then did some kind of, what's the word? I couldn't remember it earlier either. Affirmations, or words, or writing, or quotes on the back. Would that work? We can try, shall we? Let's get back to it. If you are getting coffee, you need to come back now. So let's try this. Let's try a bit of chalk paint. And some Glow It paint. Now it says on this Glow It paint you can mix it with any other 25% of any other acrylic, Decoart quality acrylic paint. So any craft quality, good craft quality. Decoart is high-end craft. It's not like your 25p craft acrylics. They're like £4 or £5 range. They're the more permanent craft acrylics that you can use outdoors, is the word I'm looking for. Right, so let's do the glow-in-the-dark paint first, because I think the chalk paint is going to be quite dense. So let's try some of this glow-in-the-dark paint and see what happens. So this is, it's going on transparent, but slightly chalky. So that's good, you can kind of see where it is. It's milky. It's a bit like putting down what's it called? It's like putting down clear gesso. So it's milky when it goes on, but it's not white. I don't know how thick you need to put it on for it to glow in the dark. So I'm going to do one side, do this little bit here quite thick, and then this side I'll just paint it over quite thin, so we can test. Now obviously we're not going to be able to see this in the dark, because A, it's not going to be dry, so I'll just have to tell you how it works. Oh, it takes 4 days to dry as well, properly. It takes 4 days to cure. But that's how it goes on. So I've put it, this side, I've put it just a thin coat, and this side I've put a thicker coat. You can see it looks very chalky and lumpy and weird if you put it on thick, but not so chalky and weird and lumpy if you put it on thin. But I don't know which will be better for glow in the dark. Do you get more glow in the dark if you put it on thicker? I don't know. Let's put a really thick patch there because I've got loads of paint. Now here's another idea. Those of you who use acrylics, a lot of us don't bother with proper palettes or anything. We just use the lid of a coffee pot or our craft mats or whatever. You could use a CD as your palette for a few days, so it gets nice and thick and chunky with paint without any effort. Maybe stick a bit of paper under here so that it didn't have a hole in the middle. And then you could just use it as a palette, and when it's all covered, there you go, you've got a nicely painted CD on one side. So there's another alternative. Of course, that if you get it too thick, it'll just peel off. It'll all peel off in one thing because acrylic is plastic. Let's try this chalk paint. Now this is chalk paint for glass, so is it going to be opaque? That's the question. No, let's try it on the coloured side. I think it's meant to be see-through. I'm not sure. Maybe you need to do several coats. It doesn't say anything about applying several coats. Creates a chalky ultramatte finish. Opaque paint that creates a chalky ultramatte finish. I suspect you have to put it on quite thick because it's very runny. That usually indicates that it's self-leveling. And you just chuck it on quite thick, because if you try and paint it on, it just goes like that, see? So let's give that a try. It's quite bubbly, it's got a lot of air bubbles in it, so you might have to go round with a pokey tool and get rid of the air bubbles. Or a cocktail stick. That's what I've got. They're recyclable, they're reusable, biodegradable. Probably not biodegradable by the time they've got acrylic paint on, but oops. Okay, so there's our chalkboard paint. Now let's see if this is almost dry. Let's try putting another layer on. It's very much the same consistency as the glass paint. Every time you touch it, it moves. You kind of have to pull it on. So you see here, if you pull it on, you get air bubbles. See the air bubbles? If you just paint it on, it doesn't go on properly. Now, again, caveat, this is chalk paint for glass and ceramic, and I'm using it on a bit of plastic. Printed plastic at that. So, you know, it might work on glass. It's certainly working if you pull it like this. This works very well. But there is air bubbles in it. Maybe that's because I shook it up. Maybe I shouldn't have shook it up. Though it did say shake well before use, you'd think. Right, here we go. Now we get, you can squash the air bubbles out of it as you pull it on, so that's okay. It's not quite as easy to pull as the glass paint. The glass paint pulls a little easier. Okay, let's heat dry that, speed up the process a little bit. The air bubbles pop when you apply heat. Right, that little patch is dry now, so let's try putting another layer on and see if that works better. Nope, still picks up as soon as it's wet, because it's not, as soon as something says it's washable with soap and water, that nearly always means that when you put a second coat on, it lifts itself off. It doesn't go on evenly. Again, it might do on the proper surface, it might do on glass absolutely fine, but it certainly doesn't on plastic. That's hot. So, the thick glow in the dark has gone into little pockets, and I suspect that those pockets are not dry underneath. Yeah, they're not dry. But you could get some interesting effects if you pop those air bubbles. Don't think it'll... No, it's not going to focus, but it's quite cool. This bit where the thin layer was is completely dry. That's fine. Whether it'll glow in the dark or not, that's another matter. The chalk paint, not so successful with that. The several layers is very patchy, as you can see, and the thick layer moved about as soon as I put heat anywhere near it. So now it's not pooled nicely, it's just gone into one big swamp in the middle. So that's not quite so good. I suspect we could fix that by spreading it out a little bit. And then we get marks in it again. We're going to have to play with this. Sharpie seems easier, doesn't it? Yeah. The glass paint, however, looks gorgeous. The glass paint is getting better and better the longer it dries. So glow-in-the-dark paint could work if putting it on thin still glows in the dark. I'll have to try that later. It says you have to leave it for 4 days to cure and then charge it in sunlight. So hopefully by next week, I'll just leave it in the kitchen window, and by next week somebody remind me and say, did it work? And I'll go and get the CD and we'll have a look. So I don't know about that. We'll try it, see what happens. Oh, while I've got my scrappy CD here, I've also got these. These are Cosmic Shimmer acrylic drawing inks. Now these are semi-opaque and they have to be shaken up because they are very, very chalky. Because they've got glitter in them, that happens, they separate. So you have to give them a really good shake before you start. I've got 4 of these. I've got a red one, a purple one, a blue one and a green one. I think I've also got a yellow one somewhere. But this is what I was thinking I could use for her mouth. So, because it comes with a very, very thin paintbrush, see? And it's ink, so it should dry really nicely. In theory, I should be able to paint her mouth like that and leave that to dry, and it should dry similarly to the glass paint. I wouldn't do it all over a CD, but I think for just a little bit, I think her mouth will look really cute when we've painted it like that. Oh, you can actually see it better back here, can't you? So there you go. Yeah, on the whole, I think Sharpie is easier. So this is the glass paint. It's not dry, it's nowhere near dry. It's feels like strawberry jam at the moment. If you press, actually, you know that point where you think your nail varnish is dry and you put your finger on it and it's still tacky and it leaves the thumbprint? That's what stage it's at the moment. Oh, let's grab another one. Let's leave this one to dry and let's do another one with something a bit different. So this is the, again, I'm using the holographic side because this is, actually, let me try this. Because I've got loads of Sharpies, I'm not worried about colouring my Sharpies over. Oh, whoops. Getting overconfident there. I don't need to colour the whole thing, it's black already. Let's just put Sharpie over the white bits. Because it's going to be hanging up, it's not like it's going to be right in front of your face every time you see it. It's going to be like, oh, I can see a little bit of white there. It's going to be away from you. I don't know about you, but my eyesight's not that good. Not anymore. So I'm just getting rid of the white bits. I'm going to leave the pink and blue splodges. I quite like those, they're pretty. Now once you've got a black background, in theory, you should be able to, assuming it works, use the glow-in-the-dark paint. Oh, you know what else you could do with the glass paint, actually? That would be nice, especially if it was... Hi, MM. With the glass paint, if you wanted a raised thing, you could use one of these. This is masking fluid. A masking fluid pen for, you know, like you use for watercolour, and you peel it off afterwards. So you could do your design in this, let it dry, pull the plastic glass paint, into here, and then peel off the design, and you'd have all these little bits. That might be nice, just having the colours instead of the outlines. Is somebody writing all these down? Bet Tracy is. Tracy writes everything down. I bet she's got a colouring book in one hand and she's writing notes in the other. Oh, I'm hungry. Is it nearly finishing time? 40 minutes to go. So I've been a bit quiet on classes and YouTube and things this week because unfortunately a friend of mine passed away on Friday and it was unexpected, so I took a couple of days away from recording and things. I've been doing stuff, you know, I've been planning and doing classes and stuff like that, but us introverts, when stuff like that happens, we need to just go away and contemplate our navels for a little while. So I've been doing that. So the next few days I'm going to be catching up with class stuff. So if you're in When Frogs Sing 2016 or 2015, I'm aware I'm 2 days behind. Well, not 2 days, I'm 2 classes behind. 2 sessions behind on 2016. We should have had one on Monday and one today. If you haven't already seen the note in the forums, I have put a note in there. Hi, Ellie. But yeah, if you're in When Frogs Sing 2016, I'm going to be doing critiques. Once I've had my dinner tonight, I'm going to sit and go through the critiques and stuff and the comments and things on the threads. So any of you who've put work up will have stuff to do. There's also the Monday, Wednesday and Fridays, the writing prompts. They've already been set up for the rest of the year. So those will just go ahead as normal. Those will just, you know, I don't have to think about those. They're already done. Hi, Seven Worlds. So yeah, I'll do critiques tonight, as many as I can get through, because it doesn't really take that long. So those of you who've got some additional work to do can go and do that. If you want to catch up, you can do that too. And I will aim to have the 3 watercolour tutorials up by Friday. Aim. Okay, I can't promise, but I will aim to have, because that means I have to record all day tomorrow and then edit all day Friday. Edit all day tomorrow and then record all day Friday for next week. So we'll see how it goes, but we will catch up, don't worry. We've got a year. It's not like we got behind last year as well, and we've always caught up, although I still have to do 2 drawing tutorials for last year. But everybody doing last year is in this year as well, so it's not like you haven't got stuff to do. I also would normally have put up a YouTube video yesterday, but of course I haven't recorded anything over the weekend, so I didn't do one of those. But I do have one going up tomorrow, and I have another one going up Friday, and I already have one for next Tuesday. So at the moment I'm doing Tuesday, Thursday and Friday as a pre-recorded video. Monday I keep hoping to do a vlog, a coffee vlog, but I'm never getting time to record it, so I might start doing them as live coffee vlogs. But there's other people who record on Mondays who do live streams, and I don't want it to turn into another live stream because I do 2 of those already. So I don't know. Maybe I'll Periscope. Maybe I'll see if I can get my phone to Periscope now I've got my new Uber connection. Let me heat set this a second so I can carry on with what I'm doing while I talk. Right, there we go. Ooh, don't touch them when they're hot. There is plenty to do in When Frogs Sing. Yes, there is. I've organised it. I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but I think I've organised it better this year. Last year, it was boom, 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 boom every day. And some days there was too much and some days there was too little. Whereas this time, we've got the daily drawings, then we've got every other day of painting, and then we've got one entire week of mixed media for a whole project. And I think that's working very well. And then we've got the drawing and painting and planning peppered throughout, rather than waiting for, 3 weeks for another writing thing. You've got 2 weeks of writing and a week of planning, and I think it's working better this year. It's only the 3rd year I've run it, and it takes a little while to settle into what you want to do. But I really like this format. I think this format might be what I do next year as well. And we just draw different things next year. Who knows? It's only January. I might have changed my mind by then. Right, that's dry. You can see it does show up the writing. There you go, you can see that really well. It does show up the writing a little bit, but it's not horrendous. I mean, it's, once you stood back from it, you probably wouldn't see that. So let's give this a try. These are my Chocola markers. Oh, look at that. Now that's good. When I used these before, and I used all these colours, I brought all the paint down to the nibs, and these nibs were covered in paint like they do with the paint markers, the Posca paint markers, these ones. Look, they're almost identical packaging. But these nibs stay painted, see? They start off clear and they stay with paint on them, which quite often means that they leak. This sponge has sucked up all the paint back into the tube. Isn't that cool? Now, you're enjoying the leaf videos. Fantastic. Oh, Nikki Keegan. Or the other Nikki, because I've got 3 Nikkis. Nikki Keegan usually comes in as Nikki Keegan. So I don't think you're Nikki Keegan. It's a bit early for her anyway, she's Australian. But yeah, these covered in paint like this. So you press them. You have to shake them. I forgot about that. You press them to get them going, and it takes a little while to get them going. But apparently, if you leave them lying down, all the paint goes back up into the nib, into the bottle. Isn't that fab? See, this is what happens. The paint comes down onto the nib and the whole nib goes pink. But I've just left those since the last time I used them back at Halloween. There you go, see? And it's all sucked back up into the nib. That is so cool. Hi, Kerry. Wow. I'm impressed with that. Okay, so something I discovered with this stuff is that when you've got it there and you've got a paintbrush, a dry paintbrush, you can pick it up on your paintbrush and paint with it a little bit. Not too much because it dries really quickly, but you can. There's not enough there to paint with, but you can do that. So if you've got one of these craft mats, you can scribble on your craft mat with your paint. What I'm going to do is see if we can draw on here. It bugs me that they don't post. Seriously. Oh, it is Nikki Keegan, and it is very early, so it's like 4 o'clock in the morning for you there or something, is it? It bugs me that they don't post. Chocola, sort it out. Seriously, these are designed for teachers and the pens don't post. Really? Sort it out. I used to be a teacher in a classroom. Trust me, that pen lid would have been lost in about 5 minutes. And especially if you, with these kind of very, very bright colours, you'd be using them with young children, I would have thought. You don't want lids like this wandering around with young children, because what do? They put them in their mouths, and is there a hole in the end? No. It's not a safety cap. They don't mind. The girls like me giving feedback. Okay, let's see if we can put some more of these paint splatters. Now, these, the chalk markers, are not permanent. You put them on, and they dry, and they stay put, and they don't fade, and they're light resistant, etc., etc. I've got a couple of things hanging in my kitchen where I've drawn stuff on the fridge, and I did my slate with my time for a brew thing on it. I'm just drawing back in the pink things that were here because I like them. Yeah, I've got a few bits and pieces in the kitchen and they haven't faded at all. They haven't moved. They haven't budged. But a little bit of soap and water cleans off completely. Oh, it's 6:30 a.m. Oh, it's not that indecent then. I hope you've got your coffee. For those who've just joined us, this is what we did in the first half. This is Sharpie. Well, I used a rubber stamp, but the ink that I used, even though it's multi-surface permanent ink, didn't work. Sorry, you can see the camera there, can't you? Well, it's reflective surface. You're going to see everything. There you go. So I stamped it and then I drew back over it with a Sharpie. And then we've coloured this with glass paint. We've pulled the glass paint into it. This glass paint is actually drying pretty well. It's still at that stage. Yeah, it's dry in places, but like there, it's stuck and it's left fingerprint. But it's not horrendous. It's just a little bit of a fingerprint. It's not going to bother me. So it's drying quite well. Let's use a blue one. Let's put her back over there so we don't get anything on her. I'll come back to her in a second. I just want to try these chalk paints. Yeah, all of these chalk markers have gone back to... The nibs are completely clean again. And I know I used them all. Oh, that one's not. I definitely used the pink though, and the red. Self-cleaning tips, I like that. There you go, here's the blue coming through. Not being too fussy about this, I'm just recreating the pattern that was already there. Because I partly coloured over it in Sharpie to get rid of the writing. So far, the things that work best are anything that's designed for slick surfaces. So regular Sharpies, not the fine liner Sharpies, not the writing ones, the alcohol-based ones that are multi-surface. These Chalkola white write markers. I bet ordinary white write markers would work as well, but you'd have to make sure you didn't smear them because those smear. This dries permanent until you wash it off. You have to remove these with soap and water. But they do wash off. So, let's see. Now these are very chunky, but they do come in different size nibs. Actually, instead of using that, I'm going to use my paint marker. Posca paint marker, not to be confused with Chalkola markers. Different brand, different stuff. But this is poster paint. Now this is also permanent until so it dries completely properly, and if you rub it, it won't come off. But if you wash it with soap and water, it will. So you could create these for different seasons, perhaps, or even, you know, Yule decorations. for your altar, Christmas decorations, whatever, different seasonal things. We've got a lot of rain and snow at the moment, so I think I will put on here these go on kind of semi-opaque and then they dry. Ooh. See, that happens with these. Doesn't happen with the Chalkola markers, I have found. These separate. These don't go on quite so opaque as the chalk markers, but they do dry very opaque. Pop that air bubble. There we go. Love the smell of rain. So yeah, as I was saying, the paint markers, the Posca paint markers, and the Sharpie paint markers as well, the proper paint markers, are clean up with soap and water. So anything that says clean up with soap and water, you can put it on a porous, non-porous surface. This is actually bright red. It's coming off orange on camera, but it's actually bright red. It's because these are neon, so this is picking up funny colours in the paint. They're clean up with soap and water, so when you wanted to change this CD to something else, you just stick it in the washing up bowl. You don't want to put it in the washing machine, in the dishwasher. But if you throw it in the washing up bowl, a bit of soap and water, all this will come off and you can dry it and do something else. So you could have your quote of the month or whatever. You could even use it, this is what we used to do for scrapbooking, is use it like a memory tree. So like for an anniversary or something like that, or birth of a baby, remembering people who aren't with us anymore, that kind of stuff. And you could change it each month. And if you want to keep them, you just do them in permanent stuff and put them in a CD holder. You can still buy those little storage folders for CDs. Pop them in there and you can keep them. Yeah, that works. Where's my... I like the paint markers. I think I actually prefer the chalk markers though. They seem to work a little bit better on this surface. The paint markers separate a little bit, whereas the chalk markers are made for kind of plasticky surfaces and chalkboards. Got dog hairs all over my pen. Afternoon or is it evening? It's evening, it's 1940. Hi Carrie. So let's put an eye in white. And let's pepper that with some white raindrops. Yeah, these are chunky nib ones, but they do smaller nib ones now. Because I did say to them that the 7mm was a bit too thick for crafters. It's ideal for writing on a chalkboard for teachers, but for crafters, 3 and 5mm is better. These are great for colouring, but they're not great for lettering, which is what we tend to use them things like this for. And they do now do the 3mm ones and the 5mm ones, and I think they also do very, very tiny ones. Let's do some doodly things. I'm not a mandala person, so I haven't done mandalas. I found you, Dee Dee. I don't do mandalas. I do not have OCD. I'm not like these people who go, oh, I'm a little bit OCD. My mum and my sister have OCD. I know what proper OCD is like. But honestly, a mandala where one of the lines is wrong, ugh, drives me crackers. I just can't handle it. I cannot sit and look at a mandala where the lines are wrong. This is quite cool. I like this. I'm just doodling now. So I've started off with a... Let's do the red on that side. I started off with a really cool idea of trying what somebody else had done, and now I've gone back about 10 years to what I used to do when I used to just grab a CD and doodle on it with a Sharpie. Oh, you know I'm going to have to buy some Sharpie pens now, don't you? I've only got black ones. And a pink one, obviously. Goes without saying. WH Smiths have got an offer on for the big pack of Sharpie markers. Clowns, we don't do clowns. Who's coming up with clowns? Stop talking about clowns. We don't do clowns here. Hi, Sandy. No, clowns are banned. Let's not talk about clowns. Yeah, Wednesdays and Saturdays, 6 till 8, and sometimes on the Saturday I do 8 till 10 in the morning as well for my Australian buddies, because Nikki's here at 6:30 in the morning. Bless her. It's a lot easier for her to be here at 6:30 in the evening on a Saturday, so... I used to do these on YouTube, but the Ustream is a bit more reliable. It doesn't keep cutting out. However, YouTube has multi-camera, so I do prefer to do YouTube. But Ustream has all the notifying people and all that stuff. So, but I have put suggestions into YouTube that they need to do stuff like that, integrate chat and things like that. Because you've got Google Chat, but you haven't got anything else. Right, so there's that. I like this. And these are neon, so you know, they really show up well on the black, even at a distance. Let's go back to my original girl. Here she is. So for those who've just joined us, we used Archive a Link. Now I think, I don't know, but try, if somebody's got StazOn, try StazOn, because StazOn is multi-surface. And that's supposed to be heat sealing. This is supposed to be multi-surface, heat sealing, waterproof, fade resistant, etc. But it didn't work. It wiped off. But if somebody's got StazOn, try that, because it's a different type. And I've seen people stamp on CDs before, so I know something works, I just don't know what it is. So if you've got some StazOn, try stamping on the CD, let me know if it works. What we ended up doing was stamping it and then going over it with a Sharpie pen. These definitely work. And then we heat set the Sharpie with a heat gun. When it cooled, we used a little bit of water and a cloth to wipe off the old rubber stamp stuff. This rubber stamp is this one by Jasmine Beckett Smith. She's called Belle of Bonadventure. She's from that picture there. You can't see it very well. You could, of course, draw on this, you know. I just didn't have time today. I wanted to try a stamp and I wanted to try my new stamp, but it didn't work. So this, I'm just going to colour in her bodice here in the black Sharpie so that that will dry. Don't forget, if you're using Sharpies, and I've known this from before, if you outline it in black and then colour it in, what'll happen is the colour will remove the black, just like it did with the blender pen. Because, like, you know, we draw on this, we heat set it and dry it. So that's not coming off now. Blender pen, just an ordinary blender pen, or a bit of isopropyl alcohol, takes it off. Okay, now that will happen with Sharpie over Sharpie. So if you coloured her in Sharpie, all the black would come off. So your best bet is to colour her, draw her in colour, would be my suggestion. Draw her in a very light colour, colour her in, and then when she's dry, go over her in her outlines in black. Which means you could do it with a much thinner pen as well. So let's try a different colour. Should we give her, does she want purple hair or does she want gold hair? She wants purple hair, doesn't she? I'm finishing this one off because I want to see what it looks like on the holographic side. I like the holographic side better, I think. But I quite like the black side as well. So, pulling her glass paint, and I'm going to go straight in from doing the dress. I now know that the glass paint works better if you just chuck it on there and leave it thick. So I'm pretty much just spooning it out with my brush. Again, I'm using the Decoarts Glass Paint, multi-surface, ceramic and glass. It's not for plastic, but it does seem to work on plastic. And it works better if you pull it like this. As I said earlier, that may be the reason that people use puffy paint to do the edges. I don't have time to wait for that stuff to dry. It takes days. And if you use a heat gun, it goes flat, so it defeats the object using puffy paint, doesn't it? So pretty much just ladling this on. In blobs, technical terms. It's not like painting, it's blobbing. It's actually a bit like when you do nail art, you don't really paint it, you blob it. It's a very similar thing. Self-leveling. Yep. That nearly went in my coffee. Even though I've got a sippy lid on, it nearly went in my coffee. She's pretty. I'm liking these glass paints. I think these are definitely the most successful of the day. I'm going to use this Cosmic Shimmer paint to do her lips, because she doesn't have lips because the Sharpie was too thick. But these have got tiny, tiny, tiny little brushes. That's the word I was looking for. Every time I do that, I think of Tim Curry. I see you quiver with anticipation. That's partly why it takes me so long to think of the word, because I can hear him in my head. And when you've got that going on in your head, you can't think. Her hair looks really good, doesn't it? I really like the way the hair came out. I think the dress would have looked better if I'd pulled it on like that to begin with as well. But yeah, it's like the chalk. It's like the chalk paint. It does pull. If you wouldn't, you would have to dry this flat. But I think that's really pretty on the holographic surface. Look at the difference in the holographic colours in the hair. There's the dress. See the fiery colours? Her hair is like blue and silver. And then on the regular background, it's rainbow as normal. Isn't that cool? I think she's so cool. Right, let's do... here's something else I wanted to try. These are the zebra paint markers. Writes on any surface vividly. Did I close that? Yes, I did. Writes on any surface vividly, medium point oil-based opaque paint. Shake well with the cap on before use. To prime the tip, press it against a piece of paper repeatedly until the ink begins to flow. So same principle as this. But you have to really shake them up. Oops. I've lost some weight, my rings keep falling off. There we go. Okay. That's ready to go. Let's just give it a little bit of a pump up. Is that going to work? No, I don't think so. I think it needs a bit more of a... I haven't used these in a while because they stink. I don't like the smell. This might have dried up. Painted a lot. I said, oh yes you did, didn't you, Kerry? I remember that. I've seen you painting CDs before. What do you use on your CDs? Acrylic? Or glass paint? I think this has got a bit gungy. I used to do altered CDs, like doodling on CDs with Sharpie and stuff like that. And I've done scrapbooking on CDs and fabric on CDs, but this is the first time I've painted one. I never had any paints that really worked. Ah, here we go. This might be working now. Not used this for ages. But supposedly they write on any surface. Huh. Well, that's not working, is it? I think my pen's doesn't work. I think it would work fine if the pen worked fine, but I think my pen's dried out. Let's try the silver one. Probably dries out because I leave the tip off. Oh, that sounds a bit better. Can you hear the difference? This sounds like the paint's gone goopy, whereas this one sounds like the paint's all thin and nice. Or it's empty. That's the other alternative, isn't it? Yep, that's empty. Great. So those can go in the bin. Well, that would have been nice while it lasted, wouldn't it? Ugh, and now I've got enamel paint everywhere. Ew. Ew. Right. Alcohol markers also don't work. They don't even colour. So far we've got the glass paint seems to be the most successful, and the charcoal markers. Those charcoal markers come out really well. I like those. This looks fab. Now this is dry now. See? Doesn't rub off or anything. But if you get oh well, that came off because that was paint and it wasn't dry yet. For my next trick, that's not dry yet either. Well, okay, so leave those alone until they're dry. But I'm covered in paint now. See what you've done? No, it's not acrylic paint. Acrylic paint does this, which is okay on the holographic side, but on the printed side it's not. Now I'm told that if you scratch the back of the thing and use sticky tape, it will all come off. But we tried it and it didn't work. I'm also told that if you use isopropyl alcohol and spritz it on and rub it in and leave it, it will peel off. But I don't have any to try because we can't buy it here. Well, we can, but we have to get it on eBay. Dodgy deals on eBay. Now I've got bits all over her as well. Hello, I'm making a mess. I like this. I think this is pretty. So what I'm going to do... Oh, we've already got purple. I don't want purple. We've already got red. I don't want blue. Let's do green. I wish I had a gold one. But I don't. No, you can use acrylic paint, but it will be opaque. It won't go on dense. You have to do like 4 or 5 coats of it. And ain't nobody got time for that. Golden makes a product called GAC 200, which is a glass medium for acrylic. Oh, that's like this is. The clear one of these, you can mix it with 25% acrylic paint, and it'll make it coloured. Yeah, most things that work on glass work on plastic. Let's see if we can get this to work. It's a little bit thin because it's ink. So I might have to do a couple of coats. Putting my word of the year on. Hi baby boy, what's up with you? Don't tell me you want to go out for another wee. You just went out like 10 minutes ago. He's giving me that look like, I'm sorry, I want to go again. Sponge on a white layer first and then paint them. Yeah, that's what I used to do when I wanted to paint them. Or cover them in scrapbook paper and stick photos on them. Or just doodle on them with Sharpies, coloured Sharpies. And I have to say, from what we've done today, doodling on them with coloured Sharpies still is the best option. I've spelt that wrong, haven't I? That's not how you spell magic. That's because I'm talking. And because Kerry's not following the rules. Kerry should know better. Kerry's not following the please use capitals rules. Pebio makes a translucent glass paint you can use on light bulbs. Ooh! It's heat-proof and non-flammable. Excellent. Show the puppy. Puppy! Where's the puppy? Maddie's asleep. She's been asleep all afternoon. She's snoring. Where's Scooby-Doo? Is Scooby-Doo going to say hello? You say hello, Scooby-Doo? Are you going to say hello? Say hello then. Say hello to everybody. Come here and say hello. Oh, can't get him on camera. I'm working upside down. Here he is. Are you going to say hello? He had plenty to say earlier. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you want to tell them what you said earlier? Tell them what you told us earlier. No, he says. I said it once already. I'm not telling you again, Mum. Scooby-Doo. Where's Maddie's worn herself out this morning? She had a mad 5 minutes in the park. So she's having a power nap. Right, let's try this again because I've had an idea. Because this is acrylic ink. Now, acrylic ink is not washable, okay? And that's been the issue that we've been having with a lot of what we've used, is it doesn't dry permanent, so you can't go over it with something else similar. So even Sharpies, a Sharpie will lift off a Sharpie. However, it's possible that we can use paint over paint because this is acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is permanent. So I'm thinking it might be possible to do the lettering in this acrylic ink initially to get the lettering where we want it, because it's a lot easier to write with this brush. And then go over it with glass paint to add another layer to make it thicker. We can try that, can't we? Because the glass paint definitely works really well. Obviously, if you had a green Sharpie, you could do a green Sharpie on this as well. I don't have, all I've got is black Sharpie, and I don't want to put black on it. What's to go out for a WALK and it's -2. Ooh, that's a bit chilly. That's probably warm for where you are, though. He's got no hair. He needs a bomber jacket like Scooby's. Do you want to see Scooby's bomber jacket? Are you ready? How adorable is that? He's so cute. Keeps him nice and toasty and stops him getting wet. Because he's part German Shepherd like Maddie, so once they get wet, they get wet. Okay, let's give this a try then. Might need a thinner brush than that, I think. Thinner brush, thinner brush, thinner brush. There we go, that's a nice thin brush. Use that one. Does he have boots and stuff? Because Chinese crested don't have, they're hairless, aren't they? So they don't have anything on the pads of their feet or anything. So has he got like little walking boots? Okay, let's give this a go. So I'm not gonna paint with it like I did with the acrylic paint. I'm gonna blob it on over where the acrylic paint is. Ink, sorry. I could have used acrylic paint. I've got to try and do it without getting my hand in the red. Let's try doing it upside down. That might be a bit easier. So I'm just blobbing it on. You know, these glass paints would work really well if you put them in kind of a tubular thing, like if you used them in a tube like this. This is masking fluid. You could use masking fluid as well. But if it was in like a squeezy tube, they'd work really, really well. I wonder if they come in a squeezy tube in the full size. because these are only the sample pots. These are only like mini pots. They're like, I think they're all of 10 ounces or something. I've pretty much used up most of the red just doing that, so that tells you how much is in a mini pot. But if you just want to try them, you know, that's more than enough to try. This is working really well, actually. Where the acrylic is, it's sticking better to the acrylic. It's like the acrylic is drawing it in almost, making it stick, giving it something to adhere to. I suppose it must be working like gesso. Just priming the surface a little bit. It's certainly working a lot better than when I did her dress and her hair. It's just sticking, basically. It's just sticking to the paint that's already there. Now the danger with that is that the paint underneath won't stick to the CD properly and it'll all flake off after a while, which obviously glass paint isn't going to do on its own, because it's not meant to. But the paint underneath might flake off, and then the glass paint might flake off afterwards. The way around that would be to use something like a sharpie marker to do your writing. I'm liking this effect though. I think it looks really pretty. Can you see what I'm doing? I haven't got my head in the way, have I? He doesn't have boots, but he needs a pair. Aww. Mine have got big fluffy feet, even Maddie. Because they're part German Shepherd, they've got really fluffy feet. Scooby's got like a triple coat because he's German Shepherd Collie. Maddie's got a single coat because she's staffy. So she gets really, really cold. So she wears like her waterproof coat with a jumper underneath when it's cold. If it goes minus, I have to wrap her up because she gets so cold. And then once she's running around, I can take a layer off her. But Scooby's like hardy. He could go out in a blizzard and he'd be fine. But he doesn't like getting wet. And I don't like him getting wet because it takes forever to dry him. Ingvill's in Scandinavia somewhere, aren't you? Norway, is it? Snow countries. Martin's just booked a holiday up. Oh no, it's not Scandinavia. It's might be Iceland. You know where the Northern Lights are? You can go and see the Northern Lights. They've got those underground igloos. It's something he's always wanted to do, so he's booked himself in for a couple of days before the summer comes, so he can go and see the Northern Lights in one of these glass igloos. Scooby would have to use a puppy pad. Which Scooby? Not my Scooby. My Scooby does use a puppy pad. I put the puppy pad down if I'm going out for the day. Because neither of them will pee in the house. Because they're very, very good, but that's not good for them. And it's not fair on them either if I have to go out for more than a couple of hours. If I'm leaving them for more than 2 hours, I put puppy pads down in the bathroom. Because they will pee on a puppy pad in the bathroom, because that's how they were trained when they were little. Because I don't think it's fair expecting them to not do anything in the house for like 6 hours while I'm out. But I don't go out very often. I'm a shut-in. I like this. I think this is cute. You know what I'm going to do? Oh, I got some of these, look. I'm going to put one of these on. Because that glass paint is really, really sticky. So in theory, I shouldn't need any glue. Am I shouting? Who's Scooby? Which Scooby? Not my Scooby. Are we talking about a different Scooby? Let's put the lid on the paint before we knock it over. You are in Norway. I thought you were. Yes, the Northern Lights is on one of my things I want to do, but I can't afford to go. So, and I'm working. Maybe next year. I'm going to put one of these on that little blob there, because these are sticky already, and that glass paint is really sticky. Whoops. So I think that will stick. Sticky with sticky looks like it's going to stick. I think that's really cute. And should we give her one as well? Let's give her a little holographic star in her hair, because that purple's not dry yet either. The red's dry, but the purple's not dry. Whoops. The purple's not dry. Oh, come on. No, stop it. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, it's stuck. It's stuck to the end. Look, I've got a little fairy wand. Woohoo! Hello, other Nikki. Oh no, it's the same Nikki. She's changed her name. I'm going to put this in her hair, because I think that holographic on the purple will look really pretty. And the purple is still wet, and the star is sticky, so those will stick as well. There, isn't that nice? She's got a holographic star in her hair, and because it's holographic, you can see the purple coming through it. And then on the green one, on the holographic over here, you can see the green coming through it. Well, I think that's really pretty. I like that. What I might do is, when this is dry, I might see if I can use some... I've got a tub of isopropyl alcohol somewhere, but I don't know where. So I might give it a try, put some on here and see if this will peel off. And if not, then I will do the... I will stick those two back to back, and I'll do something on this side. And I'll hang them on a ribbon or something, because you can just stick the ribbon down through the middle. Because this one, I've just smudged it everywhere, so it's really nice, but it's smudged. This is all water-based paint, so all this will come off. Just get it wet. It's magical. Boom, boom. See, this is why I suggested this would be good for doing a quote of the week or the month or whatever. Oh, it's taking my Sharpie off as well. So pretty much anything will take Sharpie off, except when it's just heat sealed. So if you put anything wet over Sharpie, it'll come off. But yeah, all of that comes off, you see. This was already here. All the paint's gone. You could even use, like if you had a doily or something, you could put a doily in between and a ribbon, and then you've got something around the edge, like almost like paper lace. Damn it, now I've got hairs on that. I do not work in a dust-free environment. I have dogs. But I want to get those two off because they're stuck to the paint. There we go, there's one. There's two. There's three. There we go. But yeah, you could put a doily in between those, and so you've got a fluffy edge, which obviously a doily you could spray paint or colour or whatever, because it's paper. And then you've got holographic on both sides. Or if you can get this backing off, because nothing I've done that they've said has worked. If you can get this backing off, you can make them see-through, as they're supposed to be, and then you would get the sunlight coming through this all pretty and stuff. But, Scoob, you've just been out. Don't start shouting at me again. You've been a naughty boy now. No, but you're being naughty. No, but you're being naughty. No, but it's naughty, isn't it? This is what it's like here all day. It's like having a whiny teenager. Hello, darling. What's the matter? Oh, you wanted a belly rub? Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to put this away now where it won't get covered in hair. So there you go. Glass paint works. I will let you know about the glow-in-the-dark paint. That needs a couple of days to cure. So I'll put this in the window and let it dry and charge up in the sun, and we'll see next week if it works. Somebody remind me next week that we need to see if the CD in the kitchen window is glowy. And in the meantime, I think I will stick this together off once it's dry, do something on the other side, and then I've got a little, can hang her in the window, and when the window's open, she'll turn in the wind. She'll be like a, I've even got, oh, you know what I've got? I've got these. We're just about to wrap up, Joe. You can catch us on replay later. Yeah, little jingly bells. Could hang little jingly bells off it as well, so it'd be like a wind chime. Beads, stuff like that. So I'm going to decorate this and see what I'm just going to play with this during the week and see what I can come up with. So if you have a go at this, do post in group or post on the Facebook page. Facebook page is Rhomany's Realm. The Witchy Wednesday group is Witchy Wednesday on Facebook. And let us know how you get on. And if you figure out how to get this coloured stuff off that actually works, let me know, because I haven't found anything that works yet. And I will see you Witchy Wednesdays next week, and Journal Chat Live. I've got 2 on Saturday because I didn't do one last week because it was the beginning of the month. What time is it? 6 till 8 in the evening, so same time as today, but also 8 till 10 in the morning. So Nikki, you'll be able to make it for that one. Saturday morning. Again, it's on the Facebook group. So, and that's it for today. I'm going to stop the recording now. So